Welcome back to Time for Gardening. If you've ever dreamed of creating a lush, romantic space right in your small backyard, then today's episode is just for you. We're diving into the whimsical world of cottage gardens and how to design one in a compact outdoor space. From clever layout ideas to charming vintage touches, you'll learn how to transform your yard into a blooming paradise. Whether you're a seasoned green thumb or a beginner looking for inspiration, there's something here to spark your creativity. Stick with us to discover space-saving strategies, plant pairings, and budget-friendly DIY accents that add personality and depth. What's your favorite garden style? Cottage, English, Mediterranean, or maybe a mix? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our garden tips. The heart of every great cottage garden begins with thoughtful planning. Cottage gardens are known for their soft lines, overflowing blooms, and a carefree but intentional look. Define your personal style, whether it's vintage, romantic, or rustic countryside, and use it to guide your decisions. In a small backyard, space is precious, so think vertically. Add wall planters, trellises, and hanging baskets to make the most of every inch. Raised beds are another great choice, creating structure and separating pathways from planting zones. Don't forget to consider the sun exposure and drainage in each area before planting. When it comes to plants, choose varieties that love your local climate and can thrive in tight quarters. Planning well saves time, money, and ensures a more cohesive garden. A well-thought-out layout makes all the difference in a compact cottage garden. Start with a simple sketch, nothing fancy, just a pencil and paper, to visualize where paths, beds, and focal points will go. Position taller elements like trellises or narrow trees towards the back or corners to draw the eye upward. Focal points such as a vintage bench, bird bath, or climbing rose archway create a sense of destination and romance. Curved pathways add a soft flow and can be made using gravel, bricks, or reclaimed materials. Incorporate cozy seating areas using bistro sets or wooden benches for relaxing moments outdoors. Every corner should feel intentional, charming, and useful. Think of your layout as a story waiting to unfold. Plant selection is key to creating that lush, overflowing look typical of cottage gardens. Focus on plants with a variety of textures, heights, and colors to keep the space visually rich. Consider classics like lavender, foxglove, salvia, and climbing roses for fragrance and color. Mix in herbs like thyme or oregano for both beauty and practicality. Use bushy perennials along borders and accent with a few taller bloomers in the back for dimension. Container gardening is your best friend when space is limited, perfect for annuals or trailing plants like sweet alyssum and nasturtiums. Don't forget seasonal bloomers that change with the months to keep your garden ever evolving. Match plants to your region's hardiness zone to reduce stress and maintenance. One of the secrets behind that cozy full look is layering. Start with tall plants or structures in the background, like delphiniums, trellises, or tall herbs. In front of them, plant medium-height flowers like daisies or coreopsis. Finally, use low-growing plants like creeping thyme or pansies near the edge of paths or beds. This layering gives the illusion of depth, even in a small space. Let plants weave into one another slightly to create that organic, abundant feel. Try to use odd-numbered groupings and stagger bloom times, so there's always something flowering. Think in terms of texture, too. Mix feathery foliage with spiky blooms and soft petal flowers. Layering helps your garden feel lush and lived in from every angle. A cottage garden wouldn't be complete without its signature vintage charm. Incorporate old watering cans, weathered terracotta pots, and rustic wooden crates for nostalgic flair. Hang up antique tools as wall decor, or use a chipped enamel bowl as a planter. Repurposed items like iron gates, windows, and even teapots make charming focal points. Flea market finds can often become your most treasured garden details. Use distress finishes, soft pastels, and floral patterns to emphasize the romantic mood. A string of fairy lights or a vintage lantern instantly adds magic in the evenings. Let each item tell a story. It's what gives your garden a soul. Keeping your garden hydrated is essential, but efficient watering is especially important in small gardens. Drip irrigation systems and soaker hoses are excellent for saving water and delivering moisture right where it's needed. Water deeply but less frequently to encourage strong root growth. In warmer climates, early morning or late evening is best to reduce evaporation. Group plants with similar watering needs to avoid over or underwatering. Rain barrels are a great eco-friendly solution, especially when placed near your garden beds. Potted plants may dry out faster, so check them daily during hot spells. Consider adding mulch to help retain moisture and keep roots cool. A little upkeep goes a long way in maintaining a lush and lovely cottage garden. Regular pruning encourages new growth and prevents overcrowding. Pinch back leggy stems and deadhead spent blooms to keep flowers coming all season. Be mindful not to overprune. Cottage gardens thrive on a bit of wildness. As for weeds, stay on top of them before they spread. Mulch not only conserves moisture, but also suppresses weed growth. Use hand tools for delicate areas and always pull from the roots. Even just 10 minutes a week of weeding can make a big difference. Keep your garden tidy without stripping it of its character. Keep your cottage garden fresh and exciting by dressing it up for the seasons. In spring, add decorative birdhouses or painted pots filled with pansies and primroses. Summer is perfect for bunting, mason jar lanterns, or painted rocks. In fall, line pathways with pumpkins, lanterns, or harvest-themed decor. During winter, string fairy lights and use evergreen branches in pots or wreaths. These touches make your garden feel alive all year round, even when blooms are sparse. Swapping decorations with the seasons also gives you a chance to refresh and reorganize. Think of it as accessorizing your garden for every occasion. No garden is complete without a place to sit and soak it all in. In a small backyard, even a single chair with a side table can create a cozy retreat. Choose weatherproof furniture in wood or wrought iron to keep with the cottage charm. Surround your seat with fragrant plants like lavender or rosemary to elevate the sensory experience. A small pergola or umbrella can offer shade while adding structure. Don't forget soft cushions or a cozy blanket for chilly evenings. The goal is to create a space that invites you to pause, reflect, and reconnect with nature. Your garden should nourish the soul as well as the senses. Pollinators are essential for a healthy and thriving garden. To attract bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, choose nectar-rich flowers like echinacea, bee balm, and cosmos. Avoid pesticides that can harm beneficial insects. Plant in clusters to help pollinators find blooms more easily. A shallow dish of water with pebbles can provide a safe drinking spot. Let some herbs like dill or parsley flower. They're great for butterflies and other helpful bugs. Even in a small space, every effort counts in supporting biodiversity. Plus, watching pollinators flutter around your blooms is pure magic. And there you have it, your complete guide to designing a cottage garden in a small backyard. With thoughtful planning, charming details, and just a sprinkle of creativity, you can turn even the tiniest space into a blooming escape. Remember, cottage gardening is all about embracing beauty, imperfections, and the joy of growing. Whether you're starting fresh or revamping your garden, we hope today's tips help bring your dream garden to life. What part of the process are you most excited to try? Tell us in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a fellow garden lover. Until next time, happy planting and happy daydreaming.